Connor.
You know, I think I'll open with an immense amount of respect for Coach Stoops and the atmosphere and the culture he's created here. I tried to tell everybody all week, but nobody would listen to me. I know what this team's made out of. I know how tough he coaches. I know several of his coaches on the staff. I've known them for a long time. I have tremendous respect, and when they get disrespected like they did last week and they listen to it for a week, you know, they come out ready to play. And I think our kids listened to that. I think they understood it, but I also think it's a tough environment to play in. I'm so proud of the resiliency our kids showed. They never flinched. We thought this would be a blow-by-blow game, and we talked all week about blow-by-blow, deliver more blows than them. And we said the first chop of the tree doesn't chop the tree down. It takes sometimes 272 axe chops, and it took every single one tonight to get the job done. What I will say is I'm proud of our team. I'm proud of our leadership. I honestly believe we won this game with culture, and the culture of our team never panicked. I saw more leadership tonight than I've seen all season, and you guys have asked me 1,000 questions about this team this, what about this team this. I don't know much about this team, but I found out more tonight than I've known up to this point, and that makes me extremely proud of how they responded and how they handled some difficult situations.
Kirby, you always say it's very hard to win in the FCC. How important was it for your team to face this adversity early in the season and overcome it?
Well, I'd rather not face it. I mean, I didn't prefer it to be that way. But I also told people all week, you know, I knew it. I mean, we played on the road at Missouri 2 years ago. 2 years ago, I guess, 3 years ago, I don't know when it was. And then we played on the road at Auburn. You know, I get it. When you go on the road for the first time in the SEC at night and you keep a team in the game, you don't start fast. It's going to be a challenge. And we responded to the challenge. The best thing is we got a lot of things we can work on.
Any idea the severity of what team still?
I was told ankle and knee, but I don't know which is worse or how bad it is. I don't know much about it.
Kirby, you guys have come up here in November and had these kind of tussles. Is there something stylistically about Kentucky that's a difficult matchup for you up here?
I don't know that. I mean, stylistically they're physical, and that's always a tough style. They play really well. I feel like against us, I got a lot of respect for Mark. His defense does a great job. They do a really good job. They're good football coaches. It's not like a weakness. You don't look out there and go, oh, they got this in special teams. They got this. You know, I think people looked a lot at like last year's game, and a lot of things happened bad for them early in last year's game, and it kind of snowballed and got away from them. And I know playing up here that can happen to you. Like there were moments that it was starting to slide for us, right? Penalties, things happening, but we were resilient, man. We responded to them, and that's the true sign of a great fighter is not how hard you punch, but what punches can you take.
Kirby, I saw you go over and embrace Vandegrift and also Jamon, and there were some pretty long embraces. To share some words. What was it for you just to be able to see them again?
I love those kids. Those kids were tremendous for our program. I mean, we don't probably win 2 national championships back to back without those 2 guys. I mean, Brock did all kinds of things to help our team, scout team. He was a competitor. I mean, the guy cried in my office when he told me he had to leave. It ate away at him, and I'm really happy for him. And Pop as well. Pop and I had a great relationship, and we were fiery with each other at times, but he was also a tremendous leader, and I just respect Pop.
With the injuries that you guys have in this game, how important is the bye week just coming up for you guys to kind of rest and recover, getting ready for Alabama?
Yeah, I don't know that we can rest and recover. I mean, that's what people think bye weeks mean. We got to find a way to improve and get better. You know, we were really beat up coming into this game. You know, specifically at one position, and it was a really tough week for us. And got a lot of respect for the guys that stepped up and played.
What'd you make of the way your defensive line played today, specifically Tyrion Ingram Dawkins?
I had to watch it and see. I mean, I felt like he played good, but I mean, you know, I can't say without seeing the tape. I know he played more snaps than he's ever played. Christian Miller, Nas, I mean, they manned up and played a lot of snaps. We knew going into the game if we couldn't get 3 and outs and they were going to sustain drives, it was going to be a tough game. We were going to have to score on offense because we didn't have the players to play a 70, 80 snap game defensively, and it kind of turned out that way. We had to, you know, we're just beat up right now.
Xavier McLeod returns. How big was that for the defensive line?
It was good. I don't know how he played, but it gave us, you know, I don't know how many he gave us, 15 snaps, I'm guessing, maybe 20, I don't know, but I'm glad he was able to go, and the training staff did a tremendous job to get him back to that point.
You said you learned a lot about your team today. From your perspective right now, what's the biggest thing you learned?
Toughness, resiliency, response, leadership.
They give you an explanation on Jalen's penalty?
I think they said he drove him into the ground. Jalen didn't feel like he did. I mean, Jalen's not a violent person in regards to that, but they said he kind of finished him and drove him into the ground. I actually never saw it. I don't know.
What change did you see with the offense in the second half after kind of slow the first half?
Well, I thought we got on rhythm a little bit. When we hit plays, we were able to do some drop back passing. We hit a couple plays. We went fastball with it, but we never really found any rhythm the whole night. You know, and that's disappointing because we're a better offense than we played tonight, and I can't answer why. I have to watch it and see, but we're better than we played to.
How big was Trevor on that one touchdown drive you had tonight?
Oh, huge. The guy ran. I mean, he made something out of nothing about 8 times. I mean, some of those were some of the best runs we've had all year because people standing in the hole unblocked, and he's making a miss and getting extra yards, and a lot of respect for the way he played.
To go back to the defense, how did you see the resiliency from that group, like you said, as banged up as they were, and keeping Kentucky out of the end zone, holding them to 4 field goals?
Yeah, felt like it was a bend but don't break kind of scenario. You know, kept giving up plays, but you know, the one thing I thought Schumann and the defensive staff did a tremendous job game planning. I thought he called a really good game. He helped our players. A couple drives or penalties would have been punts and not 3 points, and I think the game would have been better for us. But I'm proud of the way they played. They bowed their neck when they had to, and we took away a lot of shots. They are a shot team, and they have extremely fast wideouts, and I thought we covered the shots well.
Are you concerned about penalties right now?
Yeah, I think everybody in the country is. I watched games today, and it was like crazy, and we're higher than we've ever been. I watched all these games; they're higher than they've ever been, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, we have been a low penalty, smart team, and I can't figure it out. I don't know if it's the way it's being called. Is it being called tighter? Because everybody's got more, but we certainly got to reel it in some.
What went into the decision to bring Daniel Ayers here and then not play him, and how do you deal with that with the availability report? What's the protocol for such a situation?
Daniel was available tonight. It's the coach's decision. It's my decision.
Are you worried the offense is playing with fire a little bit with the slow starts and both games the defense is
Playing
time
with
for
fire.
the offense?
Define playing with fire. Not scoring in the first.
Right, not scoring.
Yeah, I wouldn't call that playing with fire. I'd call it not playing. Right? Like playing with fire is like, I guess you're talking about dangerous. I'm talking about playing with your hair on fire and playing hard. I do think they play hard. I think that we have a really good offensive staff. We have a really good offense. We have people around them, and we got a good quarterback. We got to do a good job and go out and execute. And I mean, say what you want about Kentucky's defense. Kentucky's defense is pretty good to me. We'll judge that at the end of the year. I think people are looking at it the wrong way of the South Carolina game. I actually think Kentucky's got a really good defense, and I think Clemson's got a really good defense, and I think we got a really good offense. So we got to do a better job of starting faster.
How much will playing under the lights here in the atmosphere help your guys, especially the young guys who've never experienced it, as you go to Bryant-Denny?
Well, we get to go to Bryant-Denny and many other places on the road this year. So it's going to be an adventure every time we go out on the road. I mean, it's a tough schedule, guys. When we got it, I knew it. I mean, the first game I pointed at was Kentucky because everybody was talking about the other 3 on the road. I'm like, guys, we're going to go to Kentucky on the road. And people just don't credit them because of they had turnovers against South Carolina. They didn't play real good against South Carolina. That team was going to play tonight, and they did, and we responded.
What did you see from Carson tonight in terms of resiliency?
Well, Carson is a great leader. He didn't panic. He made plays when he had to. Let's look. The last drive of the game, he had to go play and make throws. He did. He ran the ball. He put us in the right plays. He's a really good football player that we put a lot on and asked to do a lot. We got to do a better job protecting him, and we got to put him in better situations.
How important was Jalen for you guys tonight, kind of heating up Vandegrift, especially with the defensive line being?
I think he did a good job. I don't know. I don't get to see it as much. I thought he was back there in the backfield a lot. He's playing really hard. He is a natural-born leader. He's affecting people on the sideline with positive energy and loves the game. So, the kid is just a remarkable kid.
Did you get a chance to watch any Alabama? They had an early game today, just your next opponent.
I mean, I watched a few games. I don't think I even saw that game. That's the last thing on my mind right now.
Is it more challenging with a night game? Like you have to so much downtime before. Like what are you guys doing to try to make sure you
Both teams have to do it, so it's kind of balanced. It's not like one of them doesn't have to do it. So I talked to Mark about it. They do things, we do things. I mean, to me, the only thing the night thing does is bring the atmosphere up a little higher because fan base is sometimes inebriated.
Coach, what went into the decision to take that delay of game right there instead of kicking a 47-yard field goal? What all are you going through your mind right there?
Yeah, we're sitting there thinking if we miss it, where they get the ball, and if they miss it, they still need a touchdown to win. It's a long field goal. They can block it and score. Bad things can happen. We can punt the ball, play with our defense, which we think is really strong. We think we got a great 2-minute defense. We can also punt, milk the clock. Field goal is going to be 3 or 4 seconds. If that ball hits the ground and rolls like we wanted it to, the game may be over or closer to over, and just felt like it was a safer play.
And during that time, that like last 2 minutes, was someone in your ear, or were you just eyeballing it on the clock the whole time? Because it kept sort of changing. There was a penalty, and there was situationally in the last 2 minutes the clock.
I don't understand what you're asking.
Was someone talking to you from the booth? The situation's changed slightly. Was it penalty?
We're always talking from the booth.
But they weren't counting you down or anything.
Counting down on what?
Seconds. How much would be left if you punted? How much this?
Oh yeah, we do that every time. That's standard operating procedure, 100%. I mean, we knew once they had the review. They got us a little bit on the review because when they reviewed it, they had called timeout. They didn't tell us they took the timeout away. So we had a mishap in that we went up there to snap the ball thinking it had been a timeout so the clock would be stopped. So Carson snapped the ball with 10 to 12 seconds that would have gone off the clock, which is a huge mistake. Just infuriates me that we did it. But it happened, and it was a little bit of a communication error because we assumed there was a timeout. Once they went to the review of the fumble, there was not a timeout, and they were going to start the clock. Well, Carson wasn't thinking the clock was going to start. Therefore, the game could have been over or closer to over, and that's something I take a lot of pride in that we just screwed up. But that has nothing. I mean, your question is, were we talking about it? Yeah, we were talking about it. If we got one more first, we'd have been really close.
4 straight games where you guys haven't given up a touchdown. You guys talk about keeping opposing teams out of your end zone, but why do you think you guys have been able to execute that and keep that at that level?
Good red zone defense. Staying away from explosives. I mean, look, football's hard these days. Our defense takes a lot of pride in how they play. I think our defensive staff does an incredible job. They work really hard on game planning for people, and I mean, we're going to play better and better offenses. We got to get better and better, but it's pretty hard to do. I mean, I don't know if anybody in college football has been able to sustain that. It's just hard.
Time for one more question.
Call it on, give the ball to Branson in that situation with the touchdown. Just put in, what did you think you could get out of him?
Well, it was a rotation. I mean, Trevor was tired. Trevor had driven down there, and I don't remember exactly the situation, but I think Trevor was gassed, and we stuck Branson in there, and he had a little juice. He made some people miss, and really physical run that I was really proud of. I mean, ETN played dinged up tonight, and just proud of the way he stuck it in there and played, and the other backs supported him because they can't all be in there, at the same time. So this is a big win for our program. I'm proud of our university, and we'll keep chopping and get better. That's the next step. Thanks.